Hi, and welcome back to 3 Wows and 1 Promise. Let's start with 3 very different snapshots. 1, a model that takes a year of satellite data and turns it into a living fingerprint of every square of Earth. 2, an AI assistant that takes your search notes and turns them into an narrated explainer video. No editing required. And 3rd, a quiet exchange between a psychologist and ChatGPT that left him in tears. This sounds unrelated, but they all point in the same direction. AI systems that aren't just faster or more capable, but that start to hold context in deeper ways, whether that it's a context of climate, of your team project, or your inner life. And stick for the promise, because one company tries to get rid of this AI waxy look in all the images. Did they succeed? We'll see. Let's start with the problem of unimaginable scale. Every day, satellites capture petabytes of data about our planet. Optical images, radar, thermal readings, 3D measurements, so much information. It's an overwhelming flood. Making sense of it all has been one of the biggest challenges in science. But last week, Google Earth Engine with Google DeepMind introduced new foundation model, Alpha Earth Foundations. And to put it simply, they've created a living AI-powered digital twin of our planet. It's truly unbelievable. Here's the core idea. The AI model takes a full year's worth of data from dozens of different sources. Satellites that see through clouds, measure forest height, track climate, and packs it all into unique digital fingerprint for every single 10-meter square of Earth. They call this an embedding. It's not just a prettier picture, it's a fundamental change for science. You can now do things that were previously impossible. You can click on a specific type of mangrove forest in one country and instantly find every similar ecosystem across the globe in seconds. You can compare the fingerprint of a piece of land from 2020 to, let's say, 2025 and see not just that it changed, but how it changed from urban sprawl to wildfire recovery. The wow here is that this turns Earth from a collection of static images into a dynamic, queryable database. It's a tool that will revolutionize everything from conservation and agriculture to urban planning, giving scientists a new lens to understand our changing world. Will it make some politicians believe that climate change is real? Hopefully it will. Wow number 2 also comes from Google, from NotebookLM. We previously covered NotebookLM and explained why it became so successful and gave a few ideas how to use it. But last week, they finally launched some new capabilities that make NotebookLM truly irreplaceable, both for your learning procedures, for your writing projects. And just let me show you how NotebookLM works. And I will give you an example of my own project about citizen diplomacy. Working on it, I gather notes, articles, interviews, I do a lot of research, and this is an immense volume of information. Thousands of papers, recordings, videos, etc. Turning that pile of documents into a clear, shareable story is hard work. And it's even harder when you imagine that the project that I work on has more than 40 years of history. So first, I used NotebookLM to help me go through it, search information, and explain in clear, short text some parts of history that I didn't know. But now Google Labs dropped a game-changing update to NotebookLM. They just rolled out a new feature called video overviews, and that's how it works. I created video overview a little bit ahead because it takes some time. If you just imagine how much information it needs to precede before it gives you a video and explainer itself. Here you go. This is a created video overview of my project about citizen diplomacy. Of course, there are some inaccuracies and it's not a ready-to-go product, but it's a phenomenal structure that gives me, the person who understands this topic very, very well, clear understanding how to present it further in the future and how to make a book clearer about that history.
Their mission was not political. They weren't trying to change the Soviet government. They were on a philosophical quest to explore what they called hidden human reserves, and they wanted to connect with anyone else on the planet who was doing the same. And for Michael Murphy, this wasn't just some casual interest. He was, in his own words, on fire with this vision.
The wow here is, of course, the transformation of static information into dynamic multimodal understanding. It's here for everyone. That's also an absolute wow. It's a tool that doesn't just help you research, it helps you teach, helps you share, it helps you understand, collaborate in a completely new way. It's your personal data storyteller. I loved it. We've gone from the planet to our notes. For my final wow, I want to share that New York Times has published an opinion piece about how 81-year-old psychotherapist is working with ChatGPT. It's not that unexpected that New York Times writes about AI. Of course they do. But I think they are setting this new format, this new genre, asking people from different professions tell the readers how they work with AI. This piece is very optimistic. It's written by Harvey Lieberman, as I said, 81-year-old clinical psychologist, and he started using ChatGPT as a professional experiment. He was skeptical first, but very curious. And a year later, he says, he still uses it, and it became his daily thinking partner. He knows it's a machine. He knows it's a mirror, but the reflections it showed him were staggering. I'll just give you a couple of examples. He wrote to it one day about his father, who had passed over 55 years ago. And he typed, "The space he occupied in my mind still feels full." And ChatGPT replied, "Some absences keep their shape." And that single line stopped the psychologist and almost made him cry, because it was a perfect articulation of a feeling that Harvey could not find the words for before. And why is this a wow? Is that Harvey Lieberman says very clearly that AI did not become a replacement for his mind, but it became an active extension of it. It helped him re-encounter his own voice, soften his edges, and find new frames for lifelong questions. It also helped him to free himself, to be free from, hurting someone's emotions, hurting someone's feelings. It just let him be absolute open with this machine about whatever feelings he has. It gave him this new space for thinking that he'd never discovered before. So the wow here is this profound potential for AI, not just as a tool for productivity, but as a catalyst for self-reflection and understanding. I thought it was very important that such big media as New York Times shared this positive experience. I love this company. I love the models that they release. Usually they exceptionally good. This model is also great. But as we know, with AI images, there is always this waxy skin, the overly blurry backgrounds, the boring compositions, this dreaded AI look. Black Forest Labs, in collaboration with Crea AI, decided to do something about it. And they released this new model, Flux.1 Crea, trying to rebel against mediocrity. They argue that when you train a model on a global preference, the average taste of millions of users, you end up with something that pleases no one. It's like asking a fashion lover and a minimalist to agree on one outfit. So they took an opinionated approach. They believe pre-training is for covering all possibilities, but post-training is for deliberately collapsing the mode, chipping away at the data until you're left with a specific curated aesthetics. And they hand-curated small quality, high-quality data set that reflects their taste, and then use reinforcement learning to bake that style into the model's DNA. And I'm sure they succeeded in that. What I really liked is how when you create an image, it's very fast. It's extremely fast, much faster than Midjourney and ChatGPT, and it's kind of like gets out of nowhere on you, as you see, and that's absolutely lovely. But for me, this model has absolutely the same problems, this waxy AI look, and whatever you ask it to create, it creates very standardized image. And I ask it to create as you see a couple of ugly people, they're not ugly at all, they're beautiful, and that's what actually the data set was about. There is not enough people represented in this data sets because most data sets are from internet with a lot of beautiful or made to look beautiful images. So that's a promise for me. This technology is still promising to me. I believe it's possible to create AI images that can reflect every part of our life, but we are not there yet. Thank you for joining 3 Wow and 1 Promise. Please give me your feedback. I would love to hear it. What we can change, what we can add, what's good, what's bad. I really appreciate feedback. Thank you so much, and subscribe.